everyone, and welcome to Woodbridge Channel's TV 35. I'm your mayor, John McCormick, and we're here today to bring you a virtual Veterans Day Parade 2020. As you know, COVID-19 has messed up a lot of plans this year, and everything's getting rescheduled, and we didn't want to put people at risk coming to a live parade, especially our veterans, so we decided to do this virtual. Joining me is one of my very best friends, Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin. And Craig, we're not doing a football game or a basketball game. It's even better doing a Veterans Parade.
Well, it is better to do the Veterans Parade. This is something we've done for a number of years now. It's grown, it's gotten bigger and better, and is certainly one of the more meaningful events, I think, in the township's yearly activities. This one will be different, as you point out. So many things that we have had to change to accommodate the impact of the pandemic. But look, it's important that people get to see the veterans and we get to recognize them, and I think we're going to do a good job at making sure that they get featured.
Yes, exactly. We're going to talk today about all of the World War II veterans, the 75th anniversary of the end of that war. There's many living, of course, many more deceased, and we've asked families to give us biographies and pictures. We'll get into that. But what we're going to do, folks, is take you through the 2019 parade, which was our 13th annual. These started in 2007. You will see John Eberhardt, who heads our Veterans Alliance, and Brian Molnar, who runs our Recreation Department. They'll kick it off, and we'll show you the first part of the 2019 parade.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This is John Eberhardt, and I'm with Brian Molnar. We're here for our 13th annual Veterans Day Parade. Plenty of thank yous. Thank you to everyone who's showing up. A nice crowd we have out there, Brian. Thank you to all the veterans. And Brian, a special thanks to your department. You guys go out of your way organizing this, and every year it gets better and better and better. So thank you.
For 13 years, John, I've been saying it's an honor to put this parade together. The holiday parade is fun to put together, but this is an honor. And when you think about this week in Woodbridge, Tuesday we had Election Day, and today we're here to celebrate the veterans who gave us that right to go to the polls and freely elect our elected officials. And what a better way to honor them than today.
Okay, great. And again, thank you. What a super job you do every year. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be bringing you the parade real quick. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the start of our parade at 1:37. So, parade kicked off from Ross Street, and starting the parade off is always Woodbridge's finest. Kind of leading the way for our veterans. Brian, we've mentioned it's the 13th year, and each year it keeps getting better and bigger. And I looked at the street on the way here, and there is a nice crowd here today.
Yeah, it's a very good crowd, and that's, very encouraging to see. And one thing I got to say, John, in 13 years, I don't think we had one rain day.
No, we've been very fortunate, you're right. Absolutely. And our first group is going to be the JROTC, established in 2014, currently has 105 cadets. It's an actual curriculum class out of Woodbridge High School. Colonel Tom Parker is the senior instructor, and Sergeant Major Johnson is the assistant. A great organization. We're trying to partner with them and many things, but here they come.
Here they come.
We were mentioned our announcer right now is heading into the Army, and her MOS is going to be military police.
Yeah, what a great organization for the school district, and it's amazing how they've grown in the short period of time that they've been together. I believe they got Army certification like in their second or third year.
Which is great. That's great. That's fast.
So we're very proud of them.
Absolutely. And here's Post 87, Commander Mike Jarnkowski. Busy post.
And they're our parade sponsors today.
Yeah, we'll be having lunch with them a little later, and here's their pick. Actually, here's Mike on the pickup truck now, coming by. Mike's sitting in the back, waving in a tan jacket. He looks so dignified there.
Yeah, look at him.
Yes.
There he is. Post 87 was chartered on January 13th, 1928.
It's one of our older posts.
Right up on Berry Street.
And here comes the state commander.
We see Danny Dunn over here
And
on the
there's-
right-hand side.
There's Frank Kemper and Eddie Van Ackert in the cars. And here's our state commander. There's Dan Dunn.
And it looks like we got our dignitaries coming into view. See Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin, Congressman John Pallone, Freehold Director Ronnie Rios, Chief of Staff Carolyn Ehrlich.
And a special thanks to all our dignitaries. It seems that anytime we go to them and ask for something for the veterans, they pitch right in. I know there was a resolution in the election day ballot for the a veteran is a veteran.
Got our mayor, newly re-elected, John McCormick.
Greg Ficarra with him. And here come the Colonia Musketeers, Fife and Drum, Director Kelly Felson, First Sergeant Jason Balser, and Drum Sergeant Toby Stern.
They are out of Hackettstown, New Jersey.
And I may be a little prejudiced. I'm a little proud of my young Marines now coming down.
Yeah, but I'm going to step out right now because we have some special guests coming in.
Hello, Jenny.
And here go our young Marines.
They're great, aren't they? Look how good they look.
We established them.
What?
There we see the Grand Marshal.
Hey, guys.
There's Leathernecks and Kevin Reinhardt Detachment of Marine Corps League. And failed to mention that our assemblyman here is our assembly speaker.
How are you, John? Thank you. Pleasure to be here. We just saw Grand Marshal Councilwoman Debbie Meehan representing the 5th Ward right here in Woodbridge, of course, in Colonia section. She's the owner of the Corner newspaper.
She deserves it. She does so much for the veterans in town.
Oh, she does.
She does so much for so many people in town, John.
I say it all the time. She's got the newspaper, and she dedicates 2 pages every month, which is at her expense, with pictures of the guys and girls, men and women who are overseas in harm's way. Just a wonderful job, and she runs the troop rally, which, of course, Charlie Kenny started many years ago, and Debbie picked it up and continued it.
But she also does more things for other people, like, if you're somebody who's ill in Colonia, she throws together, not just throws together, she puts together a spaghetti dinner and raises them thousands of dollars. She does that routinely.
I don't know how she gets the Colonia VFW and the Colonia Firehouse, but all she does is say, guys, what do you want, Deb?
Absolutely.
Guys, what do you want us, Deb?
That's exactly right. So
yeah, she's very much deserving of the Grand Marshal title.
Congratulations to her and to the folks who picked her.
Oh, we should have mentioned, though, that the Central Jersey Leathernecks marched with the Kevin Reinhardt detachment. Kelly Terrell is the Honor Guard commander, and Gary T. White is the commandant of the Kevin Reinhardt Marine Corps League.
They're good guys. I saw them last night at the Pines at their annual Marine Corps Ball.
And with them was the American Legion Post 471, Commander Ray Orris, Chuck Paul, Vice Commander, myself, Frank Kempner, Vice Commander, and Joe Williams.
Ray Orris is Debbie's uncle.
That's right.
Exactly, yeah.
Good group.
And here comes Rollway High School, JROTC, and nice to see them in their BDUs.
BDU.
What does BDU mean?
I'm sorry, battle dress uniform.
All right. You got to have one veteran call this. So
way to show off.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks.
Way to make us look bad,
We
John.
both had the same reaction. Okay, what's a BDU?
You got us.
A lot of acronyms, but
Lady Devil Pup Drill Team.
great to see the Rollway High School I'm sorry, it's a Marine Corps JROTC. We're going to work fairly closely with them.
Rollway has a lot going on in their high school.
They've
do. Got a really good group of veteran military groups.
Yeah, John, we knew MC stood for Marine Corps.
Yeah, that we knew.
Okay.
I thought it was they were named after me, the Mick JROTC.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they do. Look at the number. They have a large number of
Yeah, they've been at it for a while.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good job.
And they do great drills. Where do you see their drills?
They are amazing. They are absolutely
Here we
amazing.
go.
Yep.
On cue, John. Nice job.
And not to get too technical, but the difference between the BDUs that we wore and what they wore, we wear Woodland, and these are what they call digital.
Whoa, what's that mean?
They're actually digital patterns on these.
Oh, really?
The other ones are supposed to, the older ones, which blend into the woods.
Okay.
They don't blend into the woods. Look like they do to me.
Oh, they do. These do.
They do.
But they're done
But they-
digitally, which is why they call them digital.
Oh, I get it.
There's a lot of acronyms
go.
with the military.
There we go. Let's hear it for the ladies. Devil Pub Drill Team. Here comes the Devil Pub Drill Team.
They actually asked for permission to leave the parade route. It's pretty cool.
The one of the best acronyms I always like was UDO is ODU, which simply means Uniform of the Day is the operational dress uniform.
Okay.
One sentence, just all letters.
And here comes the Pub Drill Team, also from Rawway High.
Yeah, they've got a nice unit there.
How are you? Good job, man.
Let's see if they're going to stop. Nope.
No, they're going to continue.
They're
The
gonna
drill team is in the
continue.
front.
Okay.
Here
Well, they
comes-
said they had a pub drill team too. Pub.
Here's the honor guard.
You know, there's more
And a
people
pub.
watching today, I thought, than
Yes,
I
ever
was
before.
very,
Yes.
very
Very
impressed with
You know
the
what
turnout.
I think matters is the little lawn signs that people put out. They're all over town, and it just reminds people of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
I think you're absolutely right, John. I think there were
Big difference.
It's
Oh,
it,
they all
maybe
have
the
to duck
fir-
when they get to the flag. When they're holding the flags,
yeah.
they have to duck when they get to the large American flag.
The first one may have been big. It was
Yeah,
it was
because
pretty
it was
big.
the
It was
first one, yeah.
But since then, I got to think. And how
Well,
much,
remember the first one we started up Main Street
we
in
started in
St. James parking lot.
Yeah. What year
13.
is this?
This is
13.
13.
07 was the first one.
And here comes the American Legion Post
Because that was
471.
one of the smartest things I ever did as mayor is ask John Eberhardt to restart the Veterans Alliance, and that
Exactly.
meant the parade.
That was great.
Yeah, the veterans responded. They just jumped right on it. And following 471 is Pac 148.
I love seeing the scout. There are scouts everywhere, Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts all over this parade. It's great.
This post sponsors Pac 148. They also sponsor the Young Marines.
Now, where do they meet now that you don't have? Do they still meet in Five Branches?
They're still
Oh,
meeting
they do?
Five Branches.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been their site, and they.
By the way,
guess
some of the
India.
kids from Rawway High are drilling with their.
Oh, they are.
weapons.
Yeah, they are. Oh, that's like yeah.
Well, at least they were. We were looking ahead, folks, and not sideways,
far
not
side.
sideways back. And apologize for that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, United States Marine Corps, they are releasing 3+ permission. Leave your viewing area, sir. Aye, sir.
And just a reminder
There
that
we
the Marine Corps is a division of the United States Navy.
Yes, it is.
And you'll notice they always shout. It's interesting to watch how we get them to do that. If they don't talk loud enough, we stand 40 feet away from them and ask them to repeat it.
Has your junior RTC come by yet? They're Young Marines, I should
Yeah,
say.
the Young Marines right in the beginning.
They were okay.
And there we see the colors. The American Legion T Nolte Post.
You'll also notice, well, I don't know if you can see, right directly behind us is the Marine Corps detachment. And every time an American flag will go by, they will hand salute.
So there you have the start of the parade.
Right.
And who did it start with? John Eberhardt. Now we'll take you back to the timing. November 13th, 2006, I was sworn in for the very first time, and it was obviously too late to do a veterans parade. But then shortly after that, John Eberhardt at the time was the recreation director, and he subsequently retired. I forget the exact timing, but one of the things he came to me with is wanting to restart the Veterans Alliance, and that's a no-brainer. You heard me say there.
Sure.
What a good decision to put John Eberhardt in charge of that. And he then started these parades, and this would have been our 14th annual, but you can't say enough about the job he does.
No, you can't, and you can't say enough about John's commitment to it. He, not just that, he's involved with the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's involved with starting the ROTCs, the Young Marines. So, John is a guy who gives it back to the community. Loves Woodbridge Township. He's made such a difference, and he's just a wonderful guy, and a guy who gets stuff done and is a joy to work with. By the way, just
Absolutely.
anybody out there who's had the experience knows it's not about anything other than getting the job done. So.
And we saw a Bisland post of the American Legion 471 T Nolte post. You can't think of that post without thinking about Eddie Gorman.
Right. Yeah, we've had the chance to know him. You and I have gotten to know him. Ed Gorman, for those of you who never met him, was one of those truly great guys who was as part of the D-Day invasion. Gave back to the community throughout his entire lifetime. I think the best interview I ever did about the town was when I interviewed him about that. Yeah, it brought back a lot of memories for him, and obviously they were tough memories, right? I mean, being part of that D-Day invasion force was no mean feat. But he never lost sight of making a difference. He did it in the community as he did it when he served in the military. So yeah, we have some terrific veterans there, and we still do. And the veterans facilities throughout the township, John, better than anybody, are important to the fabric and to the infrastructure of the town.
Let me go back to Ed Gorman, though. Remember when years ago, probably in the 07, 08, or 09, when Earl McCracken was injured in Iraq, I guess, and when he came back, he had serious injuries. Right. He almost lost a leg. And Ed Gorman and the men of Island American Legion Post adopted that young man like he was their own kid or their own grandkid. Yeah. And they saw that he got every possible benefit he could. They took his mom, it was a single mom. They did a lot of things for her. Every grant, every program, every service that was available, you're coming back.
Sure.
What do you know? But you need somebody like Eddie and John Eberhart and Ron Davey and Ray Orris and all, and Sedlak and Harity, you name them.
And Jim McGreevy's dad.
Jack McGreevy, right.
Really is.
They really took care of that young man.
Still goes to work, by the way. Works in my legislative office. Has worked for Senator Vitale forever, and Jack's still comes to work every day.
Yep. And you mentioned the Young Marines. They're a growing group. I was at the ceremony they had couple Saturdays ago over in Warren Park, and there's probably about 15 or so young men and women. Eberhard, you heard somebody mention Gary C. White is the commandant of the Marine Corps League. Who else was there? M.J. Kress, Eric Ransom, our detective in the police department, who does an amazing job with kids and getting them on the right path. I mean, nothing to do with the military. He's military, but he has these kids he identifies through the schools, and he just takes a special interest in them and getting them where they need to go and straightening them out. So we have a wonderful cadre of people involved in these groups just do great things for the veterans, but for the 3 generations past that.
Yeah, and I think Brian Molnar captured it right in the beginning when he was making his opening remarks about the nature of this parade. We have a lot of fun parades, right? The St. Patrick's Day parade's a lot of fun. There's a great festivity around the holiday parade, but this one's an honor. This is honoring people who have walked the walk.
Yep, and it was a hard decision to not have it live, but when you got your audiences all in their 70s and 80s, even 90s, you can't put them at risk. So even though we don't have a live parade, we do have honorary grand marshals, and that's everybody from Woodbridge, alive or deceased, who fought in World War II, and we've collected bios and pictures of them. Craig, kick it off.
Genevieve Murphy Buzinski was born in New York City and resided in the Colonia section of Woodbridge since 1976. Genevieve proudly served our country during World War II in the United States Navy. She was stationed in Washington, D.C., where she worked in the intelligence department, decoding enemy messages, enabling our Navy to intercept and destroy enemy submarines in the Atlantic. In appreciation for the work of her unit, she attended honorary tea at the White House, hosted by Eleanor Roosevelt. Genevieve was a loving mother of 6 children, 14 grandchildren, 23 great-grandchildren. She was the only World War II veteran from Woodbridge Township. Sadly, she passed away in February 2020 at the age of 95. She left a legacy of wisdom, strength, grace, and memories that her family will cherish forever. Dominic Rigucci enlisted in the United States Marines in World War II and served in the Marine Night Fighter unit in the Solomon Islands in the South Pacific during the island invasion of Guadalcanal, Bougainville, and Villa Lavella. His Marine unit was sent to the island once the airfield was liberated, and while other Marine units continued to clear the Japanese from the island, his main role was technical support of the Marine aircraft that flew each night in support of Marine fighting units. After the war, Dominic settled in Port Reading, where he continued to live his life until he passed away in 2015 at the age of 97. He remained a Marine in spirit until the very end. Semper Fi, Dominic.
Stuart Brandow answered the call of duty to enlist in the U.S. Army following the December 7, 1941 attack on the United States Naval Forces at Pearl Harbor, which marked America's entrance into World War II. Private First Class Brandow, assigned to Company D, 310th Infantry, bravely fought in various engagements and campaigns to include the Battle of the Bulge, which was the last major German offensive of World War II. The Germans launched the offensive through the densely forested Ardennes region of Wallonia in Belgium, France, and Luxembourg on the Western Front. The Battle of the Bulge incurred the highest casualties of any operation during World War II. PFC Brandow was recommended for the Bronze Star for heroic achievement in connection with military operations against overwhelming German ground forces on March 10, 1945, in the vicinity of Dattenberg, Germany. PFC Brandow, serving as number 1 machine gunner and acting squad leader, volunteered to locate and bring up reinforcements and medical aid after his platoon had come under heavy automatic mortar and rifle fire and had suffered numerous casualties. Private First Class Stuart Brandow valiantly served with the U.S. and Allied forces advancing through Europe to ultimately secure victory in the European theater of operations in May 1945. Stu Brandow, otherwise known as Stooby-Dooby-Doo, continued his public service to Woodbridge over the past 75 years and is a proud recipient of the Key to the City 2 years ago from the Township of Woodbridge. Staff Sergeant Edward Gorman, U.S. Army retired and a lifelong Woodbridge Township resident, answered the call of duty to enlist in the U.S. Army following the December 7, 1941 attack on the United States Naval Forces at Pearl Harbor. Staff Sergeant Gorman, a communications specialist assigned to the U.S. Army Joint Assault Signal Company, JASCO, disembarked England to land in the second wave on the Normandy beachhead as part of Operation Overlord, the Allied invasion of Europe on June 6, 1944, D-Day. Staff Sergeant Gorman valiantly served with the U.S. and Allied forces, advancing through Europe to ultimately secure victory in the European theater of operations in May 1945. Following honorable discharge from military service, Staff Sergeant Edward Gorman dedicated his life pursuit advocating for U.S. military veterans in his position as 4-term commander and service officer of American Legion T-Nulty Post 471. He was a founder of the Blue Star Family Support Group. He was a member of the board of directors of the Menlo Park Veterans Home. He worked for the advancement of the American Legion Honor Guard, and he was an advocate of veteran services, forums, and community charitable endeavors, and a proud resident of the Menlo Park Terrace section of Woodbridge Township.
George Hurst served honorably in the United States Army during World War II. He was part of the occupational force team while serving in Germany. Richard Davis served with the United States Army Air Corps during World War II.
Stephen Joseph Sir was born in Perth Amboy, graduated Perth Amboy Vocational School, and was drafted into the U.S. Navy, serving as a motor machinist mate 2nd class throughout World War II. He was the proud recipient of the American Theater Medal, the Asiatic Pacific Medal, and the Victory Medal. Steve was a life member of Hope Lawn VFW Post 1352, serving as their commander for 25 years. In 2017, the VFW was purchased by the Woodbridge Township government and converted into an adult community residence, dedicating their recreation area as the Steve Sir Memorial Room in his honor. Steve devoted his life not only to his family, but to the community and country he loved. He was active in local politics, making sure to speak personally to local leaders to ensure veterans and current servicemen were well represented by our elected officials. He visited elementary schools each Veterans Day, helping students understand what the day signifies and that veterans should never be forgotten. Steve spent countless volunteer hours giving back to his community in many ways. After a full life, Steve Sir passed away in February of 2014 at the age of 91. He is interred in the Brigadier General William C. Doyle Veterans Cemetery in Wrightstown alongside his wife. Norman Jorgensen was drafted into the U.S. Army and entered service on the 21st of February in 1942 at Fort Dix, New Jersey. After attending boot camp and entry-level infantry training at Camp Croft in South Carolina, Norman was assigned to the military occupational specialty of heavy mortar gunner and assigned to the 3rd Battalion, 111th Infantry Regiment. The 111th was initially assigned as a ground defense force within the Eastern Defense Command Chesapeake Bay sector in Virginia Beach, Virginia. In October 1943, the 111th Infantry was detached from the Eastern Defense Command and sent to the Pacific as a theater reserve force within Central Pacific Base Command and Western Pacific Base Command. Norman departed the San Francisco port of embarkation on November 8, 1943. While assigned to the Pacific Theater, Norman participated in combat operations in the Gilberts, Makin Island, Marshalls, Kwajalein Atoll, and Palau Islands in Peleliu. Norman was in the northern Palau Islands when Japan surrendered in August 1945. Norman Jorgensen was mustered out of the service on December 5, 1945, having achieved the rank of Private First Class and having earned the Combat Infantryman Badge, the Good Conduct Medal, the American Service Medal, the Asiatic Pacific Service Medal with 3 campaign stars, and the World War II Victory Medal. In 1953, Norman moved with his wife Marion and children into the Ford section of Woodbridge Township. In November 1958, the Jorgensen family moved to Colonia, where Norman lived until his death in 2009.
Charles Sermayan served in the United States Army from 1942 to 1946. Charles was part of the medical transportation team from England to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. He also served as an engine mechanic and engine repair specialist at Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi. Jack R. Bear served in the United States Navy during World War II from 1943 to 1946. He was a plank owner, having started with a boat from his commissioning aboard the submarine, the USS Spikefish SS-404. Jack participated in 4 patrols in the Pacific out of Pearl Harbor as a torpedoman, 3rd class. Although he qualified for the next rate of TME-2C, he turned it down in order to stay with the boat throughout the war. His assigned duties on the boat included the forward and aft torpedo rooms and as starboard lookout. The USS Spikefish is known for having sunk the last Japanese submarine during World War II, the I-373. For his honorable military service, Jack Bear received the Victory Medal, the Asiatic Pacific Theater Medal, 3 stars, the Submarine Combat Insignia, 3 gold stars, and the New Jersey Distinguished Service Medal. As a U.S. submarine veteran of World War II, he served as the Deputy State Commander of the United States Submarine Veterans of World War II, New Jersey Gideon chapter, based in New Jersey at the New Jersey Naval Museum in Hackensack, New Jersey, where the Balco-class WW-2 submarine, USS Ling, is permanently berthed on the Hackensack River. Having lived in Woodbridge since 1949, raising his 4 children, along with his wife Audrey, Jack worked as a pressman and a printing production manager for several area printing companies, including the Independent Leader newspaper. Jack Bear passed away in July of 2011. However, his residency in the town can still be remembered with the maple tree that he planted nearly 71 years ago in front of his Woodbridge home back in 1949. The tree still stands proudly despite many years of summer storms, and his Woodbridge home remains in the family.
Alfred LaPenta honorably served in the United States Army and Army Air Corps during World War II. Alfred first enlisted in the National Guard on September 16, 1940. After his father was killed on November 12, 1940, as a result of an explosion at the Signal Corps, located next to the water company where he worked, Alfred moved on to the Army and then transferred again to the Army Air Corps when it was introduced. He was at the Normandy invasion and served in Europe and Germany. When he returned to Woodbridge, Al LaPenta served as commander of the VFW in Woodbridge Township, which provided a room for veterans in the administration building. When they needed more space, Woodbridge Township gave the VFW a piece of property on Pearl Street, where Alfred and other veterans built the VFW building. Alfred was instrumental in bringing world-famous Captain Kurt Carlson, captain of the Flying Enterprise, to Woodbridge and marched with him in a Memorial Day parade. Walter LaPenta enlisted on March 20th, 1944, and honorably served in the United States Army during World War II. He was 21 years old. He fought in the infantry in Germany, Belgium, and France. He fought in the Battle of the Bulge, the last major German offensive campaign. During his time in Nazi Germany, he and other members of his unit were captured. They were being beaten when a U.S. barrage came in, and it was Walter's chance to get out of sight, hide, and escape. He unfortunately was the only one in his unit that survived. Dominic LaPenta honorably served in the United States Navy during World War II. He quit high school and enlisted at the age of 17. Dominic served on the aircraft carrier the USS Shangri-La. The crew members of the Shangri-La were involved in many battles with Japanese pilots. The Shangri-La and its crew were also stationed off the coast of Japan during the signing of the Japanese Instrument of Surrender by Japanese government officials. Due to Operation Recognition, Dominic was finally able to receive his high school diploma. In 2001, he graduated from Colonia High School with 2 of his granddaughters.
Charles Turner, husband of Ethel LaPenta, enlisted in the service on November 14, 1942, and honorably served in the United States Army during World War II. Private Turner was a member of the Graves Registration Unit and assigned to the grim task of recovering fallen soldiers from battlefields after battle.
And now let's get back to the 2019 Woodbridge Township Veterans Day Parade.
Pack 148 from Island, New Jersey. New Jersey, of course.
Founded in 1958, Post 47471
Well, they were founded the same year I was founded. The same year we were founded, 1958. Yeah.
It was a very good year.
That was a terrific year.
You guys were youngsters.
Kudos to the Woodbridge Fire Company for bringing the large flag
Yeah,
out. They
that's-
did at the Senior Olympics and so many other events. They
Oh,
bring
that
that
is-
out with their ladder truck. It's cool.
Well, Mayor, I got to say,
See the Pack 148.
you have really got this town, the whole community working together. It's CERTS, it's the fire department, police department, first aid squads. They're all in it together for this town.
Hey guys, look at everybody
Justin
saluting.
Roberts
How cool.
is the Cub Master. Jeffrey Broadwell is the Assistant Cub Master. And Bethany Broadwell is the committee chairperson for the Cub Scouts.
And here come the United States Naval Sea Cadets.
Let me go see if any of the council wants to get on.
Commanding Officer Lieutenant Bauman, him and I go back many, many years. Actually, his wife used to be lieutenant commander, and he was lieutenant.
Oh, really?
We used to rib him, but now he did make lieutenant commander. So,
Okay. Color Guard
God
is
bless.
Robin Goodrich. The lead petty officer is Thomas Wasiak. And Chief Petty Officer is Jens Sorensen.
and which is a very big deal, making a chief petty officer in the Sea Cadets.
Really?
Yeah. The age groups for the Sea Cadets is 10 to 13. Rich, how are you?
What's up, pal? You thought that was who? Who was that?
That was Rich Bauman, Lieutenant Commander Rich
He
Bauman.
looks like Rich Velez. Oh, I'm in the way. Uh-oh.
And here comes American Legion Post 248 in Kelowna. They stopped it, but they used to have the absolute best Friday night steak dinners.
They do,
Oh,
huh?
they do.
Post 17471 has sponsored Pack 148 for 30 years.
Commanders Juan Arnipa and John McCarthy is the first vice president.
They should welcome you on.
And now we're going to welcome the Grand Marshal of the 2019 Woodbridge Veterans Day Parade, none other than 5th Ward Councilwoman Debbie Meehan.
Good afternoon, everybody.
How are you, Grand Marshal?
I'm doing great. I just got to walk down the street with the Marines. It was a wonderful. I felt so proud to walk down with all of them.
And they were happy to have you. Every unit wanted
Hey,
you to be
Rogers.
with them. And here we are. American Legion Post 248 always supplies the float every year for us for some of the veterans that can't quite make it down the street, and for some of the auxiliary members.
The American Legion's a great post. They help us with a lot of stuff here in Colonia.
And here comes Post 4410, VFW Post. Al Jankowski, Commander. Charles Nieder, Senior Vice Commander. Larry Golden, Quartermaster. And John Harris, Auxiliary President. Al and I go back a long way back to St. Mary's High School.
Oh, yeah.
A long time ago.
Quartermaster Kenny Ronald.
And here's the post that does an awful lot. This is just a excellent VFW post. And now the great Woodbridge High School marching band.
Commander Al Jackson. Vice Commander Charles Knight. Quartermaster Larry Burgess.
Nice patriotic song, God Bless America.
Woodbridge High School marching band under the direction of
Hey, Jay. This band has been busy. They had a playoff game 2 nights ago. They won against, who did they beat? I know they play Randolph next week. I forget who they beat this week. A great come-from-behind victory. Hey there.
And the band is directed by Jason Cohn, assistant director Kevin Flaherty, color guard advisor Nicole Tallera, percussion instructor Daniel Barnett, and drum majors Anna Devizia and Ethan Moriz. And behind them is the Girl Scouts of Woodbridge and Carteret. They always have a great turnout at all the parades.
Oh, they're loaded, yeah. It's driving me crazy. Craig, who did Woodbridge beat Friday? North Hunterdon, yeah, North Hunterdon, right. Randolph's up next, and then we have the winner of Irvington and somebody else after that, once we beat Randolph.
And we got Troop 83514. We've got Troop 80124, Troop 83615, and Troop 83715. Wow.
It's always great to have the youth come out and support all our veterans.
Nice turnout. Yes, it's great
Really
to see
is
that.
nice.
And here's another great supporter, the Woodbridge Elks. The Kevin Reinhardt Marine Corps Detachment meets in their hall. And special thanks to the Elks, free of charge. Thank you so much, folks.
Woodbridge Elks.
Hey, Brian.
3116.
Brian.
Hank Hart is the exalted ruler. Karen Empress is the leading knight, and
Congressman,
Scott
come on
Schroeder,
over.
loyal knight.
I'm going to defer to the 4th highest ranking Democrat in the House of Representatives, the entire country now, the 6th District Representative serving Woodbridge Township, among others, Frank Pallone. Frank, welcome.
And here's Boy Scout Troop 143 that are sponsored by the Elks. Scoutmaster Jim Crowell.
Thank you, Mayor.
And good luck, Congressman, to talk over the motorcycles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy to be here today at the parade. Nice turnout for, this time of year.
We had, this has got to be the largest turnout we've ever had.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I see all the, some of the drill teams are really impressive. The way the kids are marching and doing the drills. It's really good.
And we'll let the motorcycles pass here. Woodbridge Elks Motorcycle Committee.
Nice show of support by the Woodbridge Elks.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, thanks. I like how you have on the across the train tracks there all those flags and everything from the various wars, from the Revolutionary War to Vietnam, and they're really great too.
Yeah, we got one more we got to put up there, and that's been the Afghanistan conflict.
Oh yeah, you got to add that.
Well, the parade continues to roll along, but I wanted to take a minute to talk about one of the really, truly special programs we have here in Woodbridge, and that is the Hometown Heroes Project. Most of you probably know it as the banners that you see along the roadways that appear each year. And this is the opportunity to think about that, to honor somebody you know and love that was a veteran here in Woodbridge. All you need to do is go onto the township's website and make the application. Deadline runs not until April, but it's a good idea to get it started now. It's one of the most visible, John, and best programs that we have, and it's very, very popular. Everybody's banner will be displayed at on Memorial Day and the run up to Memorial Day at the Honor of the Troops rally. But it's a good time to start to think about that. You'll be able to see somebody who made the sacrifice of serving for our country, and get them their face up there, and you can see them throughout the year. So go on the township's website, Hometown Heroes Project, sponsored by T. Nolte Post 471, and make a difference in your family life. It's something that you'll feel rewarded by. Now let's get back to the bios of our World War II veterans.
Anthony Poos, otherwise known as Tony or Sonny, was a lifelong resident of Woodbridge, residing on the same street his entire life. Tony was educated in the Woodbridge Township school system. After graduating from the Middlesex County Vocational and Technical High School in Perth Amboy, Tony enlisted in the U.S. Merchant Marines during World War II, proudly serving from 1945 until his discharge in 1948. Tony served on the United States Army Transports USAT, beginning as a carpenter and then as chief carpenter. Upon his return to Woodbridge, he held manufacturing positions with several companies, including Hudson Paper and General Coating. Tony also volunteered and served with the Woodbridge Emergency Squad beginning in 1954. In 1957, Tony married Eleanor Cucci and provided for his family of three while employed by General Motors in Linden as a millwright welder for 31 years. After his retirement, he spent his free time with his grandchildren and enjoyed many hobbies, including gardening and woodworking. Greg Kalarakis answered the call of duty to enlist in the U.S. Army with the 20th Armored Division and 27th Tank Battalion. He bravely fought in campaigns such as the Battle of the Bulge as Allied forces advanced through Europe. He lives currently on Jefferson Street in Menlo Park Terrace, where I grew up and where my mom still lives. And I didn't know him very well growing up until several years ago when he was honored at the Veterans Day Parade, and we interviewed him, and what a great human being. Congratulations, Greg.
John Milton Crum, husband of Edith LaPenta Rand, honorably served in the United States Army during World War II as a member of the 41st Infantry Regiment, 2nd Armored Division. He was a recipient of the Purple Heart Medal. He died in the line of duty during the Battle of Sicily on July 14, 1943, and was interred in a cemetery in Nettuno, Italy. Edith and John had one daughter. Lawrence Rand was the son of Ellen LaPinta Rand. He honorably served in the United States Navy during World War II and traveled to the Far East.
George Sneff was born on May 12, 1920 in Newark, New Jersey, and was inducted into the U.S. Army on January 21, 1942. He served as a heavy machine gunner with the 41st Division, 162nd Infantry Regiment, later stationed in the Philippines and Japan. George was awarded the American Service Medal, the Asiatic Pacific Medal, the World War II Victory Medal, the Good Conduct Medal, and the Philippines Liberation Ribbon, and was discharged from service on February 5, 1946, attaining the rank of sergeant. After his military service, George became employed by the United States Postal Service in Newark, New Jersey, as a special delivery messenger. George also served as the post adjutant for the Avenel Memorial Post 7164 of the VFW for over 25 years. William Pavlak served our country during World War II as a corporal in the U.S. Army Air Corps. He went overseas with the 544th Bomb Squadron for 2 years, and upon finishing his tour, he worked at Chevron Oil for 30 years before enjoying retirement in 1980. I was happy to be at his house a few weeks ago to celebrate his 100th birthday.
Kenneth Hodges was married to Alverna LaPenta. He honorably served in the United States Navy during World War II as a member of the Naval Construction Battalion, the Seabees, praised as a phenomenon of World War II. His unit was charged with all manner of general construction duties during the war, from construction of temporary bridges to the construction of staging areas, training areas, and airfields. Anthony Argenzano was born on April 12, 1927, and passed away on November 1, 2018. He courageously served during World War II with the United States Army.
Harry Milne, a veteran of World War II, was drafted at the age of 23. Harry courageously served in North Africa, where the supply truck he was riding was struck by a tanker, requiring his leg to be amputated at the age of 25. Harry Milne is a true hero and patriot, and loved by all. William Lonergan fought in World War II in the U.S. Navy as a seaman first class. He lived in Island from 1956 until his death in 2013. He was married to the love of his life, Jean, and together they raised 4 children. After getting out of the Navy, he became a Newark police officer and served for 25 years. He is missed dearly by his family and friends.
Walter M. Hill served in the United States Army during World War II. He moved to Ford's in 1993 and is pictured with his great-granddaughters, Chloe, Chrissa, and Cameron Johnson. PFC Joseph G. Scotty received training at camps in Mississippi and Michigan before being sent overseas to the European theater. In 1942, he was reported as missing in action until it was discovered he was captured during the Battle of the Bulge. He was found and listed as a POW in a prison camp in Bad Orb, Germany. For his service, he was awarded a Bronze Star, Purple Heart, and the Distinguished Service Cross. Upon being honorably discharged from the Army, he joined the New Jersey National Guard. Joe lived in Island from 1956 until his death in 2007. He was an all-state past commander of the Island VFW Post 2636, a member and past captain of VFW 2636 Color Guard, and a member of the 106th Infantry Division of the Ex-Prisoner of War Association.
Eugene Heiser was in the U.S. Army Infantry deployed in North Africa and Sicily and Italy from 1942 to 1944. He was then stationed in New York City as military police from 1944 to 1946. Mike R. Valillo Jr. was born and raised in Elizabeth, New Jersey. At the age of 17, on February 4, 1944, Mike entered the U.S. Army Air Corps. He served as a gunner-bomber-bombardier in a B-24 Liberator bomber aircraft flying missions over Italy. He was honorably discharged on November 11, 1945, having earned the rank of Staff Sergeant. For his service to his country, Mike was awarded the Good Conduct Medal, Air Medal with 4 clusters, European Theater of Operations with 4 Bronze Stars, Victory Medal, and Air Conduct Medal. After returning from the service, he attended college, met the love of his life, Josephine, was married and had 7 children, and recently celebrated his 70th wedding anniversary. And now let's get back to the 2019 Woodbridge Township Veterans Day Parade.
And here comes Colonial Memorial VFW Post 6061.
Oh, great.
It's right there on Inman Avenue in Colonia.
I see all the VFWs, American Legions.
And here's Avenel VFW Auxiliary.
That's great.
Their post is VFW Post 7164. Tom Kraus is the post commander. And with them is a DAV. George Schneff is commander. George is here somewhere.
We are really so fortunate in Woodbridge Township to have such a great veterans group come out and they support everything.
Well, we got 9 of them, which is very nice to have. And
congratulations to the Grand Marshal, too.
Why, thank you.
Absolutely. It's
a true honor.
Every one of the commanders and the members of the post love our Grand Marshal. Second Lieutenant Jackson from Fort Drum and Private First Class Small from New York are 2 active duties that are marching with Island VFW 2636. And thank you so much for your service, gentlemen and lady. Active duty took some time out to walk in their hometown.
Oh, we got the Civil War reenactors coming up.
I'm surprised they haven't fired their rifles. They usually do as soon as they get under the bridge, which wakes everybody up on the parade route.
Seen them before. They're around town quite a bit, too.
This is fine in this weather, but I have no idea for like the 4th of July parade how they march in those wool uniforms.
I like that big flag that you have across the street. That's pretty neat.
Woodbridge Fire Department is they're just special. They, and as I said, this community just completely comes together to work together as a community. I mean, the Veterans Organization, Police Department, Fire Department, First Aid Department, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, school system. It's just one.
You know, one of the one of the most special days, very sad, but was when we had the funeral for Kevin Reinhardt.
Oh, yes.
In Colonia, and the way this community came out to support that young man and to send him off on his way with such pride is something that I don't think anybody will ever forget.
Oh, it was
All the
amazing.
schools came out to the sides of the street,
Yeah.
and they saluted, and it was probably the best lesson any of those children could have ever learned, coming out to the street to see that funeral procession.
Yeah, the turnout was, and I'm not exaggerating when I say thousands.
Thousands of people.
It was miles long of people just lining in the streets, and it was just amazing to see. Every one of our veterans just stood in line and saluted him as he came by, and
It was a beautiful, beautiful tribute to him.
it's just a super town. I'm just.
We got the
Best town
bagpipes.
around.
It is around, yeah, best town around, exactly.
Bagpipes coming
Here
up
comes
with the.
Woodbridge Township's favorite bagpiper, Paul DeLeo.
And here's the Woodbridge Township American Irish Association right
they-
behind them.
Getting ready for the St. Patrick's Day parade. Won't be too long.
This is a warm up for the parade. And American Irish Association President Deborah Hutchinson, Ed McSherry, Vice President, Cindy Jekanovich, Treasurer, Karen Devlin, Financial Secretary, Dolores Boyd, Recording Secretary, Jane Boble, Corresponding Secretary, and Jack Cassidy, Sergeant at Arms. So thank you, American Irish Association, for everything you do for this town. That's another organization that's just so community involved.
Absolutely.
And they hold their own huge parade.
They do.
Thank you.
Nice to see you all.
For one day I become John O. Eberhardt.
They'll start doing the parties to raise money and everything too.
Yes,
soon,
yeah.
right?
It takes an awful lot to run a
I
parade.
know,
It really does.
Yeah, they really do a fantastic job running that parade.
Yeah, it's that.
Getting ready for St. Patrick's Day? March 10th.
March
okay.
10th, we just heard it
All
live.
right, yeah,
March 10th
okay.
is the St. Patrick's Day parade.
We got
for
the
Woodbridge
scoop on it.
Township.
March 10th. And
You're doing better than I would. You're the grand.
now coming down is Cub Pack 523. David Mario, the Cub Master, and Grant Neller, the committee chair. And the committee chairs do an awful lot in the Cub Scout outfit. I know when I was Scoutmaster, it was tough.
How many groups do we have this year in the parade? It's
Ooh,
a lot of
a lot. I
of
mean,
participation
Brian
this year.
worked super hard in.
Hey, Cubs!
And with us now is
Assemblywoman Yvonne Lopez.
okay.
Yeah.
And Yvonne Lopez. This is our 13th parade, but the turnout has just been absolutely fantastic.
It grows every year. Thank you. It grows every year. Amazing. Beautiful community coming together to celebrate our veterans.
Yeah, we were just talking about the.
Yeah. So
And here's the Woodbridge Golden Knights, President Pedro Rosario. I'm Debbie. Sorry, Debbie. I walked all over
That's
you.
okay. This group coming up here, this Boy Scout, I'm not sure the name, Troop 53, they put so much time and effort into this parade. If you notice, they're all holding members of their family that
yes.
serve in our military.
Yes.
Nice.
It's really a beautiful tribute to
I'm
their
looking. I don't see
families.
any Navy out there. Okay, never mind. Okay, I take that back. There we go.
My husband is a 20-year retired Marine.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you for his service.
Yes.
Yes. We actually come from our pipeline.
Oh, that is great, having
Isn't
a
that
picture of the veteran.
fantastic?
That is super.
That's beautiful.
So it's grandparents, it's cousins, it's brothers, it's
That's excellent.
sisters.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Wow, World War II Navy. That's when we were with the Donald Duck hat.
Wonderful. Oh, look
Nice.
at the girls.
That is super. And here's Girl Scout Troop
Girl Scout Troop.
80001. Nice. Boy Scout and Cub Scout Troop 53. Cub Master George Gundry, I should mention that, and I also should mention Cub Pack 26 was Cub Master Jesse Hinkle.
So, Craig, is there ever a better microcosm of the groups in Woodbridge. Then that little 5-minute snippet there with the Scouts, the Elks, the Irish, the sports teams. Amazing.
Yeah, you're right, John. As you go through it, you see the things that make up the township, right? The groups that sponsor events that are always there, always involved in community activities. Perfect microcosm.
Speaking of some groups that help the town, the First Presbyterian Church of Woodbridge has the Wreaths Across America every year in conjunction with the Island American Legion Post 471 and the Vietnam Veterans of America Chapter 233. And what they do is they collect $15 for a wreath, per wreath, and there are 260 graves of veterans behind the church. And every year they collect the money and they put the wreath on the veterans' graves. It's a very, very moving ceremony, and it's just great that these people died in many cases hundreds of years ago.
Right.
American Revolution veterans,
wow.
and it's amazing that people never forget in Woodbridge
That's
those
remarkable.
who fought. And if anybody wants to sponsor, they can call the First Presbyterian Church or the Legion or the Vietnam Veterans Group, or it'll be on our website. But it's run by them, not by us. But we naturally support it any way we can.
Yep. Terrific program.
And now let's go back to our biographies.
William Remolino served in the United States Navy from 1942 until 1945 as a radioman. He received his boot camp training at Sampson, New York. He was then ordered to serve aboard the destroyer USS Hayward L. Edwards, DD-663, in the Pacific Theater. He received decorations for the Battle of Midway and the Battle of Leyte Gulf, and participated in the liberation of the Philippine Islands. Upon receiving an honorable discharge, he joined the United States Army Reserves until released in 1951. Bill was a resident of Island from 1952 until his death in 1998. He worked for the Woodbridge Township Road Department for 24 years until he retired in 1994. He was a lifetime member of the Island VFW Post 2636. Eugene John White, the son of Lithuanian immigrants, was born in Boston, grew up in Bayonne, and always had a deep love of the sea. After spending time in the Civilian Conservation Corps and the Merchant Marines, he was employed at the naval base in Bayonne until he was inducted into the United States Army on August 6, 1941, at Fort Dix. He did his basic training at Camp Croft, South Carolina, and his MOS was truck driver heavy. While stationed on Bora Bora, he drove a 7-ton prime mover for the engineers, coming under Japanese attack twice. After demobilizing on December 15, 1944, he spent time in the convalescent detachment at the Harmon General Hospital in Longview, Texas, recovering from a tropical disease contracted on Bora Bora. His honorable discharge separation papers are dated 12 October, 1945. Gene earned the privilege of wearing the American Defense Service Ribbon, the American Theater Campaign Ribbon, the Asiatic Pacific Theater Campaign Ribbon with 2 bronze battle stars, and the Good Conduct Medal. He moved to Woodbridge in 1954. He died in 1972.
Anthony Verazzi served in the U.S. Army during World War II. His role was with the military police while stationed in the Philippines. Michael Sarek served in the Army during World War II in a field artillery unit. Soon after, he was called back to duty for the Korean War as an artillery instructor stationed stateside in California and North Carolina.
Joseph Cantala, born 1918, passed away in 2004, the eldest son of Paul and Augusta Cantala, and a lifelong resident of Port Reading. Enrolled in the Civilian Conservation Corps and then in the Merchant Marines before entering the United States Army during World War II. He was stationed in California and was given an honorable discharge, returning to the Merchant Marines. The Merchant Marines were vital in the war effort, transporting across the ocean vast quantities of materials, supplies, equipment, and troops. Bernard Ben Cantala, Sr., born 1919, passed away in 2010, the second son of Paul and Augusta Cantala, and a lifelong resident of Port Reading, enrolled in the Civilian Conservation Corps. Ben served in the United States Army during World War II and fought in the battles of Hürtgen Forest, where he was wounded on December 3, 1944. He received the Purple Heart and the European African Middle Eastern Theater Campaign Ribbon with 1 service star. Paul Cantala Jr., 1921, passed away in 2016, is the third son of Paul and Augusta Cantala. He was born in Port Reading. Paul enrolled in the Civilian Conservation Corps as a young man. Paul served in the United States Army and fought in the European Theater of Operations. After the war, he resided in Port Reading, later moving to Colonia. He's buried in the National Cemetery in Bushnell, Florida. Victor Cantala, born in 1924, died in 1995, is the fourth son of Paul and Augusta Cantala. Victor was born in Port Reading and enlisted in the United States Marines during World War II. Victor fought in the Pacific Theater of Operation, receiving 2 Purple Hearts. He returned from his service and settled in Fords. God bless the Cantala family.
Philip Messina served in the U.S. Army Infantry beginning in 1944 in World War II. He was stationed in Berlin, Germany. Phil was discharged at the end of World War II as a second lieutenant. He then joined the Army Reserves and was called back for Korea in 1950 and was stationed at Edgewood Arsenal in Maryland, where he was charged with making nerve gas in a pilot plant. He was promoted to first lieutenant due to his background in chemistry and honorably discharged in 1952 and still lives in Colonia. Anthony Tony Orsini was navigator of a B-24 Liberator, which participated in Operation Halyard, a daring rescue mission launched by the U.S. Office of Strategic Services to recover more than 500 downed U.S. airmen trapped behind Nazi lines. His Liberator was shot down over enemy territory in the hills of the former Yugoslavia in 1944, and he, along with other crewmen, went missing for 35 days, and he was ultimately part of the Great Escape orchestrated by Chetnik soldiers of the Yugoslavian army and the help of local partisan citizens. Tony was included in the Gregory A. Freeman book, The Forgotten 500, the story of the 500 rescue airmen that survived because of Operation Halyard. Gus Lipinski was a member of the newly established Army Air Corps, which became the U.S. Air Force after World War II. Staff Sergeant Lipinski served in World War II from 1942 to 43 upon completion of Airplane Engine Mechanic School in Kansas City, Missouri. Sergeant Lipinski served in Australia and was later transferred to New Guinea in preparation for the invasion of mainland Japan. Sergeant Lipinski was awarded the American Theater Medal, Asiatic Pacific Theater Medal, and the World War II Victory Medal. Gus Lipinski is John Eberhardt's father-in-law and is survived by his wife, Jo Lipinski, still 101 years old and going strong, and his 2 daughters, Carol Eberhardt and Dr. Jean Hoffman. Henry Juergens was drafted in 1943 and by July 1944 was assigned to the 392nd Bomb Group, 577th Squadron, as a waist gunner on a B-24 bomber flying out of Wendling, England. He flew 16 combat missions over enemy territory, and on the 16th mission, September 12, 1944, his plane was shot down by anti-aircraft fire over Hanover, Germany. He and the rest of his crew parachuted out of the aircraft. 1 crewman was killed, and all others were captured. After they were captured and put on a train for interrogation camp, a German Wehrmacht soldier noticed that Henry had a German last name, was blonde and blue-eyed, and asked if he had any family in Germany, and why he was fighting for America. Henry said he didn't know if he had any family in Germany. The German soldier laughed and said how could he not know if he had family in Germany? Henry answered, "I don't know because we just bombed Hanover. That's where they're from, and I don't know if anyone is left." The German soldier looked shocked and pushed Henry into a 4x8 boxcar. From there to the interrogation camp located at Dulag Luft, and after 3 days of questioning and isolation, Henry was put on a boxcar and sent to Stalag Luft 4 in what is now Poland. After 5 months of captivity, the POW could see flashes in the sky and hear distant cannon fire. The Russians were advancing. The Germans evacuated the Stalag, setting off an 86-day march westward in what was to be the coldest winter of the 20th century. Henry suffered from frostbite and lost his toes and half his body weight. During the march, the POWs witnessed the horror of the concentration camps, were strafed by Allied aircraft, and at times carried by fellow POWs, ultimately escaping captivity.
PFC Alex Paskovich, born November 2nd, 1916, and died on October 6, 2014. proudly served in the Battery C 531st FA Battalion beginning on April 3, 1942, in Fort J, Kings, New York. He was a cannoneer in the battles of Rakukas, Southern Philippines, Western Pacific. He received decorations for these battles, including Asiatic Pacific Service Medal, Good Conduct Medal, and Philippines Liberation Medal. Alex Paskovich was a resident of Woodbridge from 1992 until his death in 2014. Samuel Dominic de Fords was a proud World War II veteran, having joined the United States Navy at 17 years of age. Assigned to the USS Catterton, he left for the Mediterranean Sea in 1943. Sam was in the 6th wave onto Normandy Beach on D-Day. His proudest moment of the war came 2 months later when his ship was the flagship for the invasion of southern France on August 15, 1944. The ship carried the Secretary of Defense, Forrester, and was hit during the invasion. Sam was injured when he was thrown from a ladder, but luckily he did not lose his life, as he lost 30 shipmates that day. Coming home to the States after the end of the war, he met the love of his life, Honey, formerly Croft, in Asbury Park. They married in 1949 and moved to Fords in July of 1962. Sam was very active in the Fords Clara Barton Baseball League, being a member of the executive committee and managing the boys' teams for many years. Sam passed away on May 25, 2020, after catching Corona-19. He is sorely missed by his family and remembered as a true patriot, a lover of New York sports teams, and the patriarch of his family.
Andrew S. Hedges Jr. was born and raised in Woodbridge. Andrew was inducted into the 4th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army on February 25, 1941, and was among the Allied troops that hit Utah Beach on D-Day. He served as a military policeman in World War II and was honorably discharged on September 22, 1945, having earned the rank of corporal. Corporal Hedges was awarded the Bronze Star, Good Conduct Medal, American Defense Service Medal, American Campaign Medal, European African Middle Eastern Campaign Medal, World War II Victory Medal, Honorable Service Lapel Button World War II, and Marksman Badge with Rifle Bar. Andrew returned to the States and soon met and married his wife Adele. Together they raised 4 children in Seawarren. John M. Van Decker was born and raised in Woodbridge Township. He was the oldest son of a World War I veteran. John graduated from Woodbridge High School and enlisted in the U.S. Navy. John was trained to be a part of the Navy's Armed Guard during World War II, serving on board merchant marine supply ships in the Pacific Theater. John Van Decker is Robin Goodrich's father. Edward A. Van Decker was born and raised in Woodbridge Township. He loved his country and was the true definition of a patriot. He enlisted in the Navy at age 17, his senior year in high school, and was called to action during World War II. He served on board the USS Amphion as a machinist mate, working below deck on the boilers and furnaces of the ship. At the end of the war, he returned to high school, graduated, and went to work for the post office in Woodbridge, a job he would have for 42 years. While delivering mail on Main Street, he met and married Amy Nissen of Fords. He was called back to active duty to serve during the Korean War on board the USS Oklawaha. After discharge, Ed moved his family to Avenel and resided there for the next 60 years. In 1971, he enlisted in the Army Reserves and was assigned to the 78th Lighting Division Band at Camp Kilmer in Edison. He served for the next 14 years, retiring from the military with a total of 20 years service. Edward Van Decker is Robin Goodrich's uncle.
John Ricano of Colonia served in the United States Army during World War II from 1944 to 1946. Wounded in combat, he was the recipient of the Purple Heart and was also awarded the following medals for his brave service: the Bronze Star, the Combat Infantry Badge, and the Distinguished Service Medal. He passed away on January 7th, 2020.
And now let's get back to the 2019 Woodbridge Township Veterans Day Parade.
And here we have...
What's coming up here?
I see we're having a little concern about the flags going under the flag.
Oh.
So we're going to remove the flags to get under it. Brian and I were talking about, we were hoping that something wasn't going to happen like the happened on Animal House, the parade.
And Debbie, congratulations again on being
Thank
the
you,
Grand Marshal.
Yvonne. Thank you.
And
This parade. I'm so proud of you.
I can tell you that it was when we sat down at the Veterans Alliance, which I'm glad you didn't attend. It was just it was mentioned, and it was everybody said they wanted them to march with her.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Marines won.
Yes. The Marines won?
Marines
won.
Okay. So my husband's part of that group, okay?
Well, we'd be the
I
commander
have
of
a
the.
soft spot in my heart for the Marines, especially the Kevin Reinhardt.
Yes, you do. And me,
But all of them.
me being the commander of the Young Marines and being president of the Veterans Alliance, it was an easy decision. Oh, they moved the flag a little bit
They
together.
did.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice move. Yeah, that was our concern earlier in the parade, but we got through it.
We got through it.
No Animal House problems.
USA.
And this is Woodbridge Little League. Way back when, Brian Small was president of it. I remember he was able to acquire another ball field for him. Here comes a couple of World War II vehicles from the Central Jersey Military Pool. Founded in 2006. It's a Central Jersey based group, non-profit, and here comes some World War II Jeeps. Unbelievable that they're still running.
How old do you think they are?
Well, they're in their 40s, so they're a good 70, 80 years old.
Wow.
Where are they housed?
Sorry?
Where are they housed? Where do they keep them?
Central Jersey. These are all privately owned, but they use them in Central Jersey.
Okay.
That's a definite World War II.
Okay.
The second one is the earlier model.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you which one it was. Basic transportation. Had a steering wheel, a gear shift knob, a couple pedals,
And that's it.
and a motor. That's it. It was used for everything. It transported soldiers. It transported weapons. Edward Barrett is president of the Woodbridge Township Ambulance and Rescue Squad. Established 1937, and this looks like a 1937 ambulance coming up.
Coming up here. Oh, that's so cool. Very cool.
Absolutely. I just saw you
I could just imagine the temperature gauge on that car right now. It's got to be sky high. Again, you just can't say enough about this town just coming together like this, and
You know, it's really one of the things that are so important to, I know, the mayor and the township, is how we take care of our veterans here in Woodbridge.
Right.
They matter so much to us. They really do.
and you can, and trust me, the veterans appreciate it. We, especially some of us that were in during a war that wasn't so popular.
Yeah. And thank you for your service, John.
Oh, you're welcome. It was an honor.
Thank you.
And Woodbridge Township Emergency Squad. Nice.
This is a great truck coming up, too. I believe this goes all over this truck. And it has faces of people that were lost in 9/11.
Oh, wow.
I believe, if I'm correct.
What a beautiful tribute.
New Jersey Run for the Fallen.
Oh, okay. Wow, look at that. That is impressive. But that was a day that, a second day that will live in infamy. And here comes a 2x. This is the taxi cab for the United States Army, United States Marine Corps. This is your cab ride. This is your Uber ride.
Wow.
That's huge.
But everybody moves out of the way for that.
And this is CERTs. I can't say enough about CERTs. They are unbelievable. The things that they do for our community, civilian emergency response team. I think the mayor calls them his Marines. Mayor McCormick's Marines. They're there all the time.
Okay.
Amazing. Great group of young men and women. And a proud to say we able to get one in our young Marines. He's our medical officer, Joe Fermola, so special thanks to him.
How are you?
I lived in Southampton before my first time here.
And now
Thank you, sir.
we want to thank everybody who's been
Okay, Johnny, I just wanted to come back and wrap it up and thank everybody who helped make this a terrific parade. And it really was. It was longer than normal. There were more people watching than normal. It really was a great parade.
Great crowd on the streets.
Yep. It starts with the Recreation Department. Brian Molnar is the Deputy Recreation Director. He's the one that really does most of the work putting this together. I'm sure he would thank Brianne and Eileen and everyone else involved. And, of course, our Parks Department sets up all the barriers, make sure the whole parade route is clear. The Police Department is everywhere. The CERT team is everywhere. The Board of Ed members are here. And, of course, our ambulance crews are all out. And the TV 35 crew for putting on a terrific show. They're filming it now, and you'll see it in your living room over the next several weeks. Whenever you want to watch it, you'll see everybody that marched and all the great time everybody had. So thank you to everyone. Once again, congratulations to our Grand Marshal, Debbie Meehan.
Thank you.
And John Eberhardt, former Recreation Director, head of our Veterans Alliance. He put the first parade together in 2007. He's still going strong in 2019. Johnny, thank you very much.
Absolutely. It's been an honor.
Well, that wraps up our virtual Veterans Day Parade 2020, a replay of the 2019 parade. And, of course, Craig, the biographies and the pictures of our World War II veterans just made this such a special day.
It really did, John. You know, we got a chance to meet these brave folks who served so honorably and got a chance to hear a little bit about them. And so, while I think we all wish we could be doing our normal things and having a parade down Main Street, I think this really made it special, as you say.
Yep, and for all of you who sent in pictures of your spouse, your grandfather, your father, your mother, grandmother, you name it, thank you for sharing that with us. You see why Woodbridge is such a great town, because of people like this that lived here, that fought for our country. Can't say enough about the best town around. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.